The Rules to Break by Richard Templar, read by Cham. Rule to break. We all have an absolute right to be respected. My children like to wind each other up, at least when they're feeling frustrated or under the weather or tired. It's what siblings do. Many years ago, we foolishly made it a rule at home that they weren't allowed to do this. If they knew that what they were doing was frustrating one of their siblings, they were to stop. Now, that might seem reasonable to you. It did to me. But of course, kids have an irritating habit of subverting rules. It wasn't long before I'd overhear them saying to each other, "Stop whistling! It's winding me up! You're not allowed to wind me up!" Or, "It really irritates me when you leave the knife in the butter. If you know it irritates me, you're not allowed to do it." Yep, that's right. They taken our rule and metaphorically scribbled all over it, and then jumped up and down on it. Now we found ourselves making another rule to qualify the first one. You have to be tolerant. Of course, it's impossible to stop siblings quarreling, and indeed you shouldn't try to. It's good for them. They do like things to be black and white, and this just isn't. The fact is that we do all have a right to be treated with respect, but we also have to temper that with tolerance of other people. Otherwise, the whole of life becomes a series of arguments with neighbors, colleagues, authorities, friends, and family. Yes, I know your neighbors should have checked with you before pruning their side of your tree. But how much does it really matter? Okay, so your flatmate never remembers to replace the coffee when it runs out. But come on, they're great company and they keep the place clean and tidy. You can't have everything. Would it hurt so much to replace the coffee yourself? It can help to put yourself in other people's shoes here. Are they genuinely doing this irritating thing out of disrespect for you? In which case you have every right to challenge it, diplomatically I hope? Or are they just being themselves? Do they simply have different priorities or preoccupations to you? Maybe they're being thoughtless, but that's still a long way from deliberate disrespect. And while you're putting yourself in other people's shoes, think about how you come across to other people. Is it possible that you have any teensy-weensy annoying habits? Might you ever irritate other people at all, do you think? Not out of disrespect for them, but just out of seeing the world from your own perspective. We all do it, so perhaps we should be a little more forgiving and tolerant when other people do it to us. Unless they're our brother or sister, of course, then it's for themselves apparently. Rule 7. There's a balance between the right to respect and tolerance.